Good morning everyone, it's me Marcy and I'm live in my own kitchen this morning. I'm going to make one of the recipes that I love to make. It's called the chicken enchilada casserole and I hope that you'll follow along. So I've got half of a giant head of cauliflower here, and the cauliflower does take the place of most of the usual carb-filled ingredients. So I'm going to cut that in half. And I'm going to turn it into cauliflower rice with my veggie strip maker. So this tool does a great job of making noodles into hard vegetables like zucchini or sweet potatoes, but it also turns cauliflower into rice. I'm going to place the veggie strip maker over the top of my largest bowl. So I always do this in the sink, and that's on purpose because if you look at the mess that it makes, you do it on the sink and the side of the sink that has the garburator. If I didn't have a garburator, I'd put the drain in so that this didn't go down the drain. All right, so all I do now is I use this like a grater. Just scrub it back and forth, and you'll see little bits fly around. It doesn't make any mess at all when I do zucchini or sweet potato. The cauliflower kind of takes flight. Okay, so I go right down to the, you can do the stem part, but we have enough here. And this just goes straight into the dishwasher from here. So I'm gonna take my everyday rock crock. This is one of the two rock crocks that I use most often in my house. This is the everyday pan. The other is a Dutch oven, and it's the same distance around, same measurements around, but it's twice as high. So that's the one that I use for, well, I made a loaf of bread in it this morning. I use it for roasts and chickens, but this one I use more for side dishes. And both of these rock crocks fit in the same slow cooker stand. We have a stand that plugs in and it turns these into their own independent oven. So a rock crock, of course, is stoneware 2.0. It has all of the versatility with none of the limitations. So where stoneware goes in the bottom rack of the oven and in the microwave, the rock crocks, of course, they'll go under the broiler, the stovetop, the microwave, the barbecue, the dishwasher, and of course that slow cooker stand. So these are super versatile, and of course they have all of the benefits of the stoneware, you know, the great moist food, the perfect crisp crusts, they're non-stick-ish and easy clean. So I love them. I dare say that if we had a rock crock in every shape that we have a stone, I may not use stone anymore. Okay, so today, just gonna pile that all in. It's pretty full. The lid goes on, and this goes now into the microwave for 10 minutes. While that's cooking in the microwave, I'm gonna prepare a couple of chicken breasts, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to sear them in my skillet. This is my stainless non-stick skillet, best of both worlds. Super responsive stainless, and yet it has this great non-stick coating on the inside. So I'm going to put just a drop of oil in the bottom here and get it preheating to about medium heat, and I'll be back to show you the chicken breasts. So with the chicken breasts, you're always gonna have a fat end and a skinny end, and if you cook it till the fat end is done, the skinny end will be overdone. So I have a tool that'll help you to cook it even every time. This is the closing cut, and I use it for a lot of things, but if I only used it for chicken, it would not be a waste of money. I still think it's totally useful just for chicken. So the gray plates push back so that whatever I set on here, when I close the lid, this is still going to be the middle. So now I'm going to take a knife that is 8 inches or longer and nice and sharp, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to fit it in between the top and the bottom, and I'm going to take care to not let the tip of the knife come back inside of it. I'm going to make sure that it stays on the outside. Okay, so I'm just going to saw my way through that, and I should have two perfect thin chicken breasts that cook super fast and stay really juicy. Okay, so here we go. There we go. Two perfect thin chicken breasts that are gonna cook super fast, and I'll be able to put a nice sear on the end on the edge, and then I'll be able to pop them into the oven to cook through to the middle, and they're going to end up being the juiciest, most flavorful chicken breasts ever. And I do this to my chicken breasts no matter how I cook them, if I'm barbecuing or pan frying, or even if I'm putting them in the microwave. If I'm baking them, I always do this. And even, you know, sometimes I make homemade chicken nuggets in my new air fryer, and I still do this before I do that. So you can use this, of course, for chicken, but those really, really thick pork chops you get at Costco, they do well in here. You can do bagels, you could do a whole plate of cherry tomatoes, you could do grapes, matzo balls, meatballs. There's just no end of things you can cut in half this way, okay? And so the question I get though is, how do you clean this? And that's a great question. So I would put some hot soapy water in the sink, and I would set this in it, and then I would take my cloth in the water, like it's underwater now. So I take my cloth and I just wipe it around so that I'm cleaning the inside of the, you know, when the gray part is pushed down, so that I'm cleaning the inside of it. I do that on the top and on the bottom, and then I just lay this in the top rack of the dishwasher, and it sanitizes that way. You can buy it on its own or with a really great knife. This is my old generation of knife. If you order this, yours will be blue, but it'll be the same great knife, and there's built-in savings if you buy them together. All right, now I've got my 4 half chicken breasts here. I use herb and garlic rub. No, garlic herb rub it's called, and I use so much of this. So I always have pre-cooked chicken in the fridge so that it's ready to make a quick wrap or quesadilla or salad. I always, the beginning of the week, cook up a bunch just exactly like this, and this is the rub that I use on it every time. Garlic herb, I buy it in bulk. All right, and I'm gonna salt it just a little bit too. All right, now my frying pan should be hot, so I'm gonna grab it and we'll put the chicken in. All right, what I'm hoping to hear is a sizzle when I put the meat in, always a sizzle. That means that it's instantly caramelizing the natural sugars in the chicken. And you've probably heard me say before that stages make flavors. So if you do a couple of things to your meat before it gets cooked, you'll end up with a more flavorful piece of meat. So right now we're cooking the outside edge. I'm gonna leave it that way for about, I don't know, 2.5 minutes, and then I'll flip it and we'll do the same to the other side. And then I'm going to pop it into my oven, which is preheated to 350, and it'll finish cooking really gently towards the middle that way. We have about 4 minutes left with the cauliflower. I put it in for 10 minutes, so there's about 4 minutes left. So this recipe has a bit of cheese in it, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the cheese grated, and I'm gonna use my microplane coarse grater. This is the sharpest grater in the world. It's really catchy. You know, when you go to grate your cheese, you can do it this way, or you can open it all the way and do it over the bowl or over the plate or the pot. I'm gonna do it this way. And so when you wipe your cheese over top of it, it just pulls the cheese in and grates it so perfectly. There's no reason to apply pressure when your grater is this sharp. Now, since my frying pan is stainless, I'm gonna just, once it's seared on both sides and there's a little bit of color on both sides, I'm gonna pop the whole frying pan right into the oven that's preheated to 350. So I encourage you to get one of these if you're gonna do something like this, because when it comes out, the handle will be super hot, as you can imagine, but it doesn't, in your mind's eye, it doesn't seem like it should be. And the worst burn that I ever suffered was across the palm of my hand, because I grabbed onto the handle without thinking. So when it comes out, I immediately put on this little sleeve, and I know you can buy these on Amazon, but it doesn't go in the oven, but when you bring it out, of course you put it on to protect your hand from it. It's like a little pot holder that doesn't come off. That's been in the microwave for 10 minutes now. And so all I've got in here is cauliflower that's been riced, and steamed in the microwave. Okay, to this I'm going to add some cream cheese. I'm just going to break it into a few pieces, just a little piece, about 1/4 of a brick, and I'm going to pop that back into the microwave just for 30 seconds to soften the cream cheese. You can see I have no trouble holding this after it's been in the microwave with my bare hands. If I cooked that much longer, you know, like a 20-minute time, let's say, in the microwave, it would get kind of warm. So I have no trouble this way though. Okay, so this is my mix and masher. This is one of our most popular items in the catalog, and it's the only masher that I own that I keep in my kitchen. So if you look at this and you think, what kind of potatoes is that gonna mash? Then join the club. I didn't think it would work at first either, but honestly, it is the best masher in the world. It works on cream cheese straight out of the fridge, it works on avocados and bananas and potatoes and sweet potatoes. Hard-boiled eggs are amazing with this if you use it to make your egg salad. Okay, so I'm just mixing the cream cheese right in there. I'm gonna put some salt on. Everything needs salt, and a little bit more than you think. And I'm gonna add about 1/2 jar of tomatillo salsa. It's green tomato salsa. You could use enchilada sauce. There's a lot of different you know, fairly similar products on the market. I get this one at Superstore. So we're gonna, let's put the sour cream in first and get it mixed in. I don't know, about 1/2 cup, I think. And I'll just mix that in as well. It's looking good. Okay, and the tomatillo salsa, I'll put most of that in. I imagine by the time I'm done, I'll have used the whole jar. It wasn't a whole jar to start with. I shouldn't have said it that way. All right, now I'm gonna go check on my chicken and see where we're at with that. My chicken is completely cooked and super juicy. It smells like I'm roasting chicken in here, honestly. So I'm gonna leave that in my bowl, and I'm gonna use my salad choppers, and these are, they're meant for like a romaine salad or salsa, kind of a chutney, but I use them on chicken every week, and I've never used it on lettuce, but you can if you want. I use mine for chicken and pork tenderloin. So all I'm gonna do is just gently, well, nothing gentle about it. I'm just hacking away until the chicken is as small as I want it. And I'm just going for bite size. So you can see how having pre-cooked chicken in the fridge and having these is so quick just to throw a quesadilla or some kind of a wrap together. Okay, just like that. And now it's all just bite size. I'll add it to my casserole. I'll stir that in. I'm also going to add the cheese that we just grated. Cutting mats are super handy. You can just pour them into the stock pot or wherever. All right, now this has to be, everything is hot in it, so honestly you could eat it right now, but we're not eating for a couple of hours, so I will just set it aside and we'll reheat this just before supper. But the recipe says to reheat, you know, in the microwave or oven, just to heat it up to get everything hot. But because I did this all, you know, at once, there's no reason we could eat it right away. It's completely cooked. Okay, what do you think of that? And look at the pretty presentation. It's the rock crocks are just understated black pots. They do a great job of showing off what's inside of it, and you know, they go oven to table and everywhere else. So anyway, this is my chicken enchilada casserole, virtually carb-free, and I hope you enjoy it. Take good care, everyone.